In today's video, I'm going to show you 4 easy crock-pot recipes that will save you time in the kitchen. Hi, welcome to my channel. I'm Melissa. I don't know about you, but I love to cook crock-pot meals. They're just super easy. A lot of people only cook them when it gets cold, like during the fall or winter, but not me. I love crock-pot meals year-round. So today I'm going to show you 4 different recipes, and they are so good, but I'm going to save the best for last, so you definitely want to watch till the end because you will love that recipe. So let's go ahead and get into cooking. So tonight for dinner we are having Philly cheesesteak sandwiches, but I'm going to make them in the crock pot. Now I know typically these are made on the stove, but it's just easier just to put it all in the crock pot. So here's what you need. I have about 1.5 pounds of roast beef, and yes, I know it says steak, but roast beef is easier and it's thinly sliced and it's easy to tear apart. Then I have the equivalent of 1 bell pepper, but these came from my garden and they're really small, so I have 2 little bags, but it equals about 1 onion. I have a red bell pepper. You can use any cheese that you like, but I kind of like this melted cheese on top of it. It tastes really good. I have it on wheat sub rolls, and then for the seasonings you need salt, pepper, you need paprika, cayenne pepper to taste, garlic powder, and onion powder. And this will all go in the crock pot. Okay, just a little bit of trivia for you, but did you know that when you pick out an onion, if you get a flatter onion like this, it will be sweeter and it will have less of a super strong onion aftertaste, I guess. But yeah, my husband's grandmother, one day when I went to go visit her, we were talking about vegetables, and she mentioned that the flatter the onion, the sweeter it is. And sure enough, the next time I made something with raw onions in it, my husband commented on how the onions didn't seem as strong. So I told him what she had said, and we were a believer. So anyway, yeah. Thanks, Granny, for the words of wisdom. I lined my crock pot because why is cleaning a crock pot such a big deal? But I hate cleaning crock pots, so I definitely use the crock pot liner. I've got my chopped veggies, I've got my spices. I did forget to tell you that I'm going to add half a stick of butter, and then I'm just going to start putting the meat into the crock pot. Just pulling up a little bit at a time. And like I said, if you want to use steak and chop it up and thin and all that, go right ahead, but the roast beef is just easier. That's a lot of meat. Goodness. Last time I made this, I don't think I used as much meat, but then my boys were disappointed because they couldn't eat more. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead now and I'm going to throw in the red bell pepper, my green bell pepper, my onions. We're about to go out of town, so my son is going to have good leftovers to eat. Now I'm just adding the seasoning, and I'm going to go ahead and put in that half a stick of butter. Now, I'm gonna turn this probably on low. I'm just gonna go ahead and turn it on low, and I'm gonna let it cook. It really only needs to cook about 2.5 to 3 hours, since, the meat is cooked. It just needs to get hot, and the vegetables need to get tender. And once I see that the vegetables are tender, I'm gonna go ahead and turn it on warm, and then it will be time to eat. All right, it's only been like an hour and a half, but we are about to have some pretty serious weather. So I am going to kind of mix this up a little bit and get some of that butter on all these veggies. And then let's scoot some of this meat around. Sorry, I'm trying to do this with one hand, but anyway, trying to get this stirred up, and I am actually going to turn this on high, and I'm going to cook it for probably another hour to hour and a half on high. And then just in case the electricity goes off, it will have enough heat in it. So anyway, but yeah, so I just wanted to show you that. Also, forgot to mention, I did not put the cheese in right now. That is gonna come later. So when you put all this in there, if you say, well, she didn't put the cheese, that's because I'm gonna do that at the end. So yeah. All right, dinner's ready. I have my bread ready. I'm using wheat, like wheat sub rolls. Love me some spicy mustard, so I got that on there. Serving it with some macaroni and cheese and baked beans. So, and actually, my family has already eaten, so it doesn't have as much in here. But this is what it looks like. I took 2 forks and I just kind of broke the meat apart. So yeah, so now I'm going to put some meat probably way too much, but yeah, I don't want that much on there. I don't like stuffing my bread too full with meat, but so there's that. And now I'm going to take some cheese, and I'm just going to put the cheese on the meat. And like I said, you can use, like my son, he used sliced pepper jack cheese, but I like that. And so there you have it. Okay, to make this delicious Mississippi pot roast, I don't know why it's called Mississippi pot roast, and this is definitely not my original, like I did not create this recipe, but it is so good and I make it all the time. But to make it, you need a pot roast, you need a jar of pepperoncinis, you need some ranch. It calls for a packet of ranch, but I just I use it a lot, so I just bought the container. I use salt and pepper, a packet of au jus gravy, and a stick of butter. And that is all you need. All right, so I have my beef tips in the crock pot already. I use beef tips because that's what I had in the freezer, and it's kind of late in the day, so I didn't want to go to the store. But to that, I go ahead and sprinkle I kind of use a lot of the ranch. I don't know how much is in a packet, but I like the way it tastes, so I just use a lot. But anyway, it's supposed to be a packet, and then you add the au jus over it. Then I add some salt and pepper to taste. Go easy on the salt. Then I go ahead and put the stick of butter. I just stick the stick of butter on top, and then I just start adding. You want to add to the meat I have. I'm gonna add just the rest of the pepperoncinis that I had in the jar, which is about 6, I guess. You just add that in there. And I like to use a little bit of the pepperoncini juice. And really, you don't even have to add liquid, but I'd like to add the pepperoncini juice. And yeah, you just turn it on. I'm gonna put it on high to start with, because like I said, it's kind of late in the day. So I'm gonna cover it. I've got it on high. I'll probably let it cook on high for a couple of hours, and then I'll go ahead and put it on low and let it cook for probably 3 more hours. And by that time, it will be ready to eat. All right, this has been cooking for about 4 hours. Well, right about 3.5 hours. About an hour and a half ago, I turned it on to low, and I'm just gonna look at it. It looks really yummy, but I want to stir it, kind of break up some of that meat. Mix some of those pepperoncinis around, get it all in the juice, and then I will cover it back up. So probably about an hour and a half left, and it will be ready. All right, so it is ready, and it smells delicious. And I'm gonna stir it real quick, and then I'm just gonna add it to the plate. A little bit of juice. This is Mississippi pot roast crock-pot meal. All right, it's time for another crock-pot meal. So what I'm gonna make today is kind of something that I just kind of made up. So there's not really a recipe for it. I just decided what sounded good, I don't know, and I'm putting it all in the crock-pot, and we will see how it goes. But anyway, what I have is 3 chicken breasts, and these are really big. So, you know, it may actually be too much for the 3 of us. But anyway, chicken, I have salt and pepper. I have a pepper and onion blend. This right here, carrots and au jus gravy, is not going to go in the crock pot, but I wanted to include it because I'll be showing you how I make carrots. Then we have some garlic, some Italian seasoning, and I have 3 jars of the classic chicken homestyle gravy. They didn't have the bigger jars, so that's why I got 3. I just want to make sure we have enough gravy because I'm going to be making this to put over rice. And yeah, I'm going to put it over rice. We're going to have carrots with it, and we're going to have green beans. So let me go ahead and get started on putting this together. I'm going to spray my crock pot with this spray because I ran out of crock pot liners, which I love using. But anyway, I'm going to spray this, and I'm going to go ahead and add these 3 huge chicken breasts. I think I got these from Sam's, and they are really big. So this is probably too much, but I'm going ahead and adding 3 chicken breasts to the crock pot. I'm going to go ahead and add the salt and pepper. Now, we do like our food a little spicy, so that's why I added quite a bit of pepper. And it looks like I'm adding quite a bit of salt, but the salt is not coming out of my shaker real well, so it's not as much as what you think. But anyway, then you add a little bit of garlic, and we do like garlic, so I add quite a bit. And after the garlic, I go ahead and add the Italian seasoning. I had actually bought a packet of Zesty Italian from the store and I couldn't find it. And then after I had already cooked all this, I found the packet. Go figure. But anyway, I add the Italian seasoning and I'm gonna go ahead and just add 1.5 of the jars of the gravy straight on top of the chicken. And then I'm gonna put the frozen vegetables, the onion, bell pepper, and red bell pepper blend on top of that. After I add that, then I'm gonna finish topping it with the gravy. Here, I only add about half of that third jar because, like I said before, I really wish they would have had the large jar of gravy, but they didn't. So I'm gonna add more pepper to the top of the gravy, and that is it. So I'm just gonna put it on, put the lid on, set it on low for about 6 hours. All right, it is time to shred the chicken. So I have 2 forks and I'm just using the forks to pull the chicken apart. And like I said before, these are 3 huge chicken breasts. So it was taking a while with the forks. So I decided to change it to this awesome Pampered Chef food chopper. And this food chopper is so awesome. I use it all the time. So that is what I'm gonna use to finish chopping up the chicken. And once that is finished chopping, I just put the lid back on and let it keep cooking for just a little while longer. All right, now I wanna show you how I make my carrots. So I love the taste of carrots when they cook in like a roast. So, well, you can't always cook your carrots in with the roast if you're not having roast. So I have my carrots in here, and what I'm gonna do to get that like roast kind of flavor is I'm going to take that half packet of au jus gravy, and you just need a half for the amount of carrots. This is like half a pack of the frozen carrots. So I'm gonna use a half a pack of the au jus. It'll come out. I could have opened the packet better. All right, that's about a half a pack. So, yep, that's all of it. And then I'm just gonna stir up the water. All right, we had a little video difficulties. So I finished mixing the au jus up with the water, poured the water in here with the carrots, and I added some pepper because we like spicy food in our family. And I'm just gonna turn it on and I'm gonna let it cook kind of on a high heat until it starts to boil, and then I'm gonna turn it down to low and let it simmer. I like to let it cook for maybe like an hour, especially since the carrots are frozen. So I'm gonna let it cook about an hour. That is how I cook my carrots to make it taste like they came out of a crock pot cooking with a roast. All right, the chicken has finished cooking and it's just been sitting on warm. So I'm gonna go ahead and plate the food. For my sides, we're having green beans. We are having the carrots that I've been cooking in the au jus to make it taste like they've been cooking in a crock pot with roast. This is my favorite way to eat cooked carrots. So these are delicious. I think you'll really like them. But anyway, gonna go ahead and add the brown rice because I'm trying to be good and stay away from white grains, even though we are having the Hawaiian sweet rolls with this. But now that I've got the rice on the plate, I'm gonna top it with the chicken. You can see how much juice is in there, but once I stir it up, it's not quite as much juice as what it looks like. But anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and spoon a nice big spoonful of the chicken with some of the juice onto the rice. And this is a plate for my husband, so he does like a lot of gravy, a lot of juice on his rice. And you can't really tell it here, but the juice isn't as juicy as what I thought it was gonna be. It did get a little bit thicker, so that was good. But anyway, here is the plate of chicken and gravy over rice. Okay, tonight for dinner we are having buffalo chicken wing soup. And so for this soup, you will need a rotisserie chicken or shredded chicken. You will need a buffalo sauce, half and half. You will need sour cream, cream of chicken, soup, and potatoes. Now it calls for 3 potatoes, but I'm trying to cut back on the potatoes, and this potato is huge, so I just got 1. But these are the ingredients that you will need for this soup. Okay, I'm ready to put everything in the crock pot. So I'm gonna start with the chicken. And we are a family of 3 right now because my oldest son does not live at home anymore. So I did cut back on this recipe some. So the recipe is gonna be linked below, but just know that I adjusted it to us. I'm gonna add the half and half. A lot of goodness right there. Okay, then I'm gonna, and of course you can choose whatever buffalo sauce you want, but this is just what I chose. This is a 12-ounce bottle, but since I'm cutting back on the recipe, I'm gonna cut back on the amount of that. Okay, we've got that. Then I'm gonna add cream of chicken, soup, and finally I'm going to add the sour cream. And if you've been watching my channel, I apologize for the hand shaking, but if you've been watching my channel, you know that my hands shake. Yes, I've been to the doctor about it, but it is what it is. So anyway, so now that I've got everything in there, I'm just gonna stir it up, mix it up a little bit. It does, oh yeah, calls for potatoes as well. And let me show you those. So I use this wonderful mixer right here to, not mixer, chopper, to chop them up. And I will put a link to the video where I showed you some things that I got from Amazon, and this is one of them. So I'm gonna add the potatoes. Now I'll stir it around again. It also calls for carrots and celery, but neither one of us are fans of either. So I'm not adding that, but I'm just going to put this on high to start off with, just to get it going. And then after a couple hours, I will put it down to low and let it finish cooking. And that is it. All right, so this has been cooking for about 6 hours. So it is bubbly and smells really good. You can really smell that buffalo sauce and it is very creamy. It's creamier than what I thought it would be, even though I know I used the half and half. But anyway, we are gonna scoop this out. Another scoop. Do you hear that bubble? So here, I'm gonna put a little dollop of sour cream. And you can see, look how yummy that looks. You got the potatoes in there, you got the chicken. That looks so good. You can either have this with crackers. We are actually going to have it with the Hawaiian sweet rolls because we love those. And so yeah, we are gonna eat this deliciousness. All right, that is it, you guys. If you're new to my channel, this is actually my first crockpot video that I've ever done. So I hope you liked it, but I do love to do just everyday home, living my life videos, shopping, DIYs, cooking now. So I would love it if you would consider subscribing to my channel. That would make me very happy. And also click the bell button because it lets you know every time I upload a new video. And click the like button because it helps me out with YouTube. Leave a comment below if you have ever tried any of these recipes before. And I will see you in the next video. Bye.